So, this is Anne. Welcome back to my channel. We're going on today with the Sell on Etsy series, and we're going to see how to take the first steps to actually open a shop. Okay, so if you followed the previous videos, you've already created an account on Etsy, you've filled your profile, and so you have your little profile picture here. And now we're going to open our first Etsy shop, okay? So I've just clicked on the shop manager here icon, which is here right next to your profile picture, and this is where it brought me. So now we're going to have to choose our shop preferences, and this is different from our site preferences. In the previous videos, I was talking about choosing the language in which you want to see the site. But now you're going to have to choose the language in which your shop will be primarily. And this is important because you can always change the language in which you view the site, but once you've set up your preferences for your shop, that's it. You can change them. So be careful when you choose these because they will affect everything in your shop afterwards. The currency can be changed, but the language cannot be changed. Okay. So first things first, where do you want to sell? You're going to have to choose the language, not depending on where you're based, but depending on where you want to sell. Etsy is an American website, so it's well known in America and Canada, and also in the UK, a little less, but in the UK. And so the main market is in the US and Canada. And so it makes sense to open your shop in English, even if your English is not your first language. You can open your shop using your native language, but then you will either have to translate your shop to English or to let Etsy auto-translate your shop to English. And let me tell you, that's not a good idea. I've seen some automatic translations for Etsy sellers who had opened their shops in French. And frankly, you don't want to see that, okay? One thing, for example, that I was seeing is that there was someone selling sewing patterns, and pattern in French is patron, which also means boss. And so the automatic Etsy translation for sewing pattern was sewing boss, which you'll admit doesn't help your shop, and you'll never be found in searches if you do that. So even if English isn't your first language, I would strongly advise you to open your shop in English, and then you can add translations afterwards, okay? But since the main customers on Etsy are speak English, it makes sense. So next, the most important thing here is that you have to select the country where your bank account is located. And be careful because you will not be able to change the location of your bank account later on, even if you move countries. If you move countries, Etsy will not allow you to change the bank account. So be careful, never close the bank account which is associated with your shop. And if you know you're going to move, think about that very carefully, which country you want your bank based in. If you don't reside in a country but have an account there, you can use it. But for safety reasons and also for currency exchange reasons, it makes more sense to have an actual account in the country where you're based. The shop currency, this can be changed later. So there are two possibilities. Either you use the currency of the country where you reside because that's where your bank account will be located. In that case, you will set the prices in the currency that you've chosen. So for in my case, that would be Swiss francs. But anyone looking at Etsy is able to change the currency they see, and so they will see the converted price to their local currency, taking into account an exchange rate which varies several times a day. So it is simpler for you to have your shop set in that currency, but it means that people seeing it in other currencies, and especially in US dollars, if your main market is in the US, will see your shop with prices which vary every day, okay? So you might not want that, and in my case, I know my main market is in the US, and so I've set up my shop so that my prices are in United States dollar. So Etsy is giving me here a warning, and this is because if you are using a shop currency that's different from your bank's currency, you will pay currency conversion fees, okay? So I will click here on Learn More so that you can figure out what these fees are. So this brings me to an Etsy Help Center page, and it says here currency conversion fees. If your shop's currency is different from your bank's currency, the payments you receive may be subject to a currency conversion fee. And in fact, they are subject to a currency conversion fee. So to all the other fees you have while using Etsy, you will have to add another fee. And I think at the moment, the fees are about 2.5%. I don't know if it's written. I've clicked on the Learn More link, and I don't think there is here an indication of the actual fees, but they might change anyway. At the time I make this video, which is April 2009, I think it's 2.5%. So why would I choose to pay those extra fees? And this is because, as I said, my main market is in the United States, and I'm in a very competitive market, and I don't want my prices to change on a daily basis, because if I'm competing on prices with United States based sellers, then I want my prices to be stable in United States dollars. But that's only me, okay? You can choose to have your currency set to the currency of the country where your bank account is located, and then you won't have those extra fees to pay when you sell something, okay? So it's a choice. Just think carefully about it. So which of these best describe you? I think it's just for, yeah, it is just for information. It's written here. And so you can say if it's your full-time job, part-time, but hope to sell full-time. I sell part-time, and that's how I like it. Or other, you don't necessarily have to explain yourself to Etsy. I suspect these are used mostly for Etsy to send you marketing emails, but or to tailor your Etsy experience to what suits you better, okay? And so now you click Save and Continue, and we come to name your shop, and we're going to talk about this in the next video. So if you liked this video, then don't forget to subscribe before you go, and check the free goodies, the free business trainings, whose link you will find below this video, and I'll see you later. Au revoir!